one of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
I feel like when there's this wind at this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
OMG, what did we just witness? Our first ever double playoff in Live Golf history. I am so pumped up right now.
So much happened on the last 5 minutes. I mean, it looked like it was going to the crushers and Annie Barton winning, and all of a sudden then Abraham holding a chip, David Puig birdie eight, then that little putt from Annie Barton on the last. I mean, it was great watching.
You know, it's really amazing to be able to do it in your home country, in front of my family, in front of so many friends, and on my favorite golf course. So it's obviously super nice.
All right, we're live. It's Game Time Decisions. We're at the Open Championship, and we've got some great help checking in here. Keith Stewart. Keith, it looks like we're set up for an excellent close here on a Sunday at the Open Championship.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. These guys, the leaders, have about, 6-7 holes left to play, and the elements are still part of the equation, not nearly as much as yesterday. Hey, at the end of the day, we had this conversation yesterday. How much did that all play out exactly like we were talking about it on GTD?
Oh, no doubt about it. Lowry specifically really struggled on that back nine, and he, at moments today, looked like he would be able to make it up. But really now, Keith, when I look at the market, it suggests it's Schauffele versus Lawrence and Rose with an outside, not dead chance, but clearly a tier off the two. Let me start with this. Do you think anybody other than that trio in Xander, Lawrence, and Rose is live to win this golf tournament?
The only other one I'd throw in there would be Billy, and it just seems like It's his week. That's the only other guy. Henley's not making any putts. Shane's just not getting up and down. Like these little elements and the things that fell apart yesterday. Granted, those guys probably played the toughest 9 holes of their lives, but where they got exposed is where they're going to continue to get exposed today. And I really think it's down to just those 4 guys. I mean, Rose just made bogey on 12, so that's going to hurt his chances because he'll now be 3 behind of where Lawrence is.
Yeah, he is at the moment at 5-1. Lawrence is at plus 220. Just through what the odds are suggesting is Xander's about to touch, or maybe Lawrence is actually about to fall back. I'm just trying to follow along here with what FanDuel's suggesting. It says he's in a native area. Admittedly, I'm not as familiar with what that might be suggesting, but it's in orange, Keith, so it doesn't necessarily seem great.
It's no good. It's a native area is what that fescue grass looks like. It also could mean the gorse bushes. I haven't seen that shot because I jumped on with you, but Lawrence has been unbelievable today. You got to love this guy. He has hit driver everywhere because that's his style. He's been super, super aggressive, whereas Billy's been plodding his way around the golf course. Really fun to watch these 2 different guys strategy-wise attack this thing. At some point, that may catch up to Lawrence. I mean, as we make the turn, now we have the same wind that we had on round 1 and round 2. So the last 6 holes are going to play almost downwind, but a little bit off the left. And a lot of those holes set up for a cut And with the wind blowing up off the left and Lawrence plays a cut, finding fairways for him, he's going to have to start aiming over the left rough and hoping it comes back. That takes a lot of trust with 4 or 5 holes left in an Open Championship.
Keith, I want to focus in on Xander Schauffele. And right now, the world number one, we all know that title belongs to Scottie Scheffler. But Xander now is currently a favorite to win what would be a second major. And all of a sudden then, depending on how you weigh things, who had the best season, you at least get a little bit of a debate on your hands. I bring that up to say, if you swapped Xander for Scottie, and you put Scottie where Xander is based on what the market typically tells us, Scottie right now would probably be minus 250. I mean, double the number. That's just what I'm used to seeing with Scheffler. I'm wondering if there might even still arguably be value on this Xander Schauffele price, Keith, because he is the world's number 2 based on what we've seen and maybe what we're seeing right now.
Ooh, that's a great question. And Xander's been impressive. Xander has been impressive. And the biggest thing about why I feel like he's obviously the favorite right now to close this thing out, but to continue to playing well, he's going to the Olympics. He's the defending gold medal winner. Golly, there's a lot of value in Xander right now because he's the best scrambler and his ball striking is right up there with Scheffler. And Scheffler's getting into this rut again with his putter, right? And we don't like what we're seeing there. Kevin, I got to give that more thought because, if you're talking about player of the year, there's just so much golf left to run with here. Not that the Olympics are going to play a big role there, but the playoffs are going to be a big deal because they're going to go head-to-head 3 more times. And if he has 2 majors, wagers should be weighed way more. And if I'm understanding the question correctly, if he pulls this thing off, his first major and his second major in the same season, all those top 10. Yeah. I go back to Rome when everyone was being super critical, and I have been critical of Xander over the years with Stefan, his dad, being so involved in his camp. And in the fall, he stepped back, and Xander made a choice. He made a leadership decision for his career to say, hey, I'm going to go, and I'm going to be my own man now. I'm going to get my own coach, Chris Como. It's not going to be my dad anymore. My dad's taking a role back. And all of this came true because his dad was in Hawaii when he won at Valhalla, and Stefan would have always been there. He was a presence on tour all the time. And for him to make that decision and to come away with the way that he has played all year, Kevin, is really, really impressive. If he goes with 2 majors, I don't care about the 6 wins by Scheffler. If he goes with 2 majors and he pulls off at least another win in the playoffs, I think by all means he's the lead for player of the year.
Keith, do you know? I don't have a golf index enough to know, but the last time someone won 2 majors in the same season, is it a long time ago since we've seen that?
Oh boy, off the top of my head, Rory, 2014, his 10 years ago, his stretch when he went Open Championship, then into Valhalla. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking quickly there. I think that's it.
I always assume I assume the answer is always just like Tiger, everything. You know what I mean?
It's if not, it's probably
Rory.
before. Yeah, it's Rory in 14.
And before that, shout out Padraig Harrington in 08.
Patty Harrington.
And then, and then it's just Tiger. But just for perspective, and not to speak that it's a formality, but just to take a moment to attempt to put into perspective what Xander is chasing. Since 2000, Tiger in 2000, Tiger in 2005, Tiger in 2006, Padraig Harrington 08, Rory McIlroy 2014. That's it. It's been a decade since someone has done this. And to your point, the first one he ever won came this year.
Yeah.
So, that's a lot more than turning a corner. Whatever Xander Schauffele's doing, it's a whole different stratosphere. It feels like he's flirting with putting himself in.
Kevin, the guy took control of his career. He took control of his life. He took a step away from the umbrella that his dad kind of held over him. And all credit to Stefan, who was quite a presence, who allowed him to step away. And he pulled back and they went to work with Chris Como and the team, and, in his college room, his college buddy is his caddy, the same thing with Harry Diamond and Rory, like Ken, Austin Kaiser, his caddy, like, is this guy going to help you win a major championship? Xander's gotten it done, man. And, he had a long time there where all he did was win limited field events or, where people were really questioning him. And if he closes this today, which by all means, he's in the best position to do it, because you start to look at some of these holes coming down the stretch. Xander predominantly plays a draw. And if you look at this, look at the pin placements over the last couple of holes, right? We have all these right pin positions. So we got on 12, 14, 16, 18. So Xander can throw that draw right up against that left to right wind, and he can hit it right there where he needs to, right? And he'll have access to these holes. Whereas these other guys that some of them play, like Lawrence plays a cut, like he's got to ride the wind towards those holes, and that's going to be much more difficult for him.
Yeah, this is going to be a fascinating finish here at the Open Championship. But again, Lawrence is still not sitting there, and he's not going away. And there's enough golf left there for maybe a Billy or Justin to make a case. Keith, we appreciate you making some time. I know you'll be locked into the rest of this tournament here. Enjoy it.
Kevin, always. And, boy, Xander twice, man. X hits the spot. Maybe a gold medal in 2 weeks. What a summer.
Yeah. And it certainly would be. We're going to continue to follow the action. We'll talk a little more baseball on the other side. It's Game Time Decisions.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Golf Championships, and now we have Live.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
I feel like when there's this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
OMG, what did we just witness? Our first ever double playoff in Live Golf history. I am so pumped up right now.
So much happened on the last 5 minutes. I mean, it looked like it was going to the crushers and anybody winning, and all of a sudden then Abraham holding a chip, David Puig birdie eight, then that little putt from Anirban on the last. I mean, it was great watching.
It's really amazing to be able to do it in your home country, in front of my family, in front of so many friends, and on my favorite golf course. So it's obviously super nice.
Live right here, it's Game Time Decisions. Let's talk some baseball with the help of Joe Madden. Joe, it's a packed Sunday slate here. Excited to get into it.
Yeah, super excited. Tons of games, and we got lots of early day games in this one. So excited for them, Kevin.
Let's start it off with the first game at 1:05 East Coast time here, which would be Minnesota and Milwaukee. Joe Ryan gets the baseball against Aaron Savali. What are you looking for here?
Yeah, it comes down to this one. I am backing the Minnesota Twins in this because of Joe Ryan coming out and getting the start. I just don't trust Aaron Savali. Why? But both of these pitchers are able to get those strikeouts on the board. You look at Savali there and the amount of hard contact that he allows. I do think the Twins will hit him, and I think they're going to hit him hard in this one. Savali coming in here with a record against the Twins as well, 1-4 versus them with a 4.19 ERA. Overall on the season, he's 2-7 with a 4.94. I just don't trust him here in this one. And that road ERA on the season is skyrocketing, Kevin. It is now over 6. It's a 6.23. I know the Brewers will be able to give him the run support, but I just don't think they're going to get a lot of runs here on Joe Ryan. I trust him to come out nice and strong. His strikeout number is too high for me to bet on today and too much juice, but I do think he'll be able to get those strikeouts on the board as well. I'm just going to take the Twins. I'm going to lay the run line, laying the 1.5 and get that plus money up plus 136. Joe Ryan has had a couple of struggles in his last couple of starts, but I think this is a huge bounce back day for him here versus the Brewers, and they get the big win.
Yeah, I'm on Joe Ryan to get a win myself, Joe, which is a price at plus 150. So definitely seeing that one the same. We'll go over to this Nationals game. Nationals Reds here, Joe. What do you think for this one?
Oh, Kevin, you cracked me up. So yesterday I had a bet on the Cincinnati Reds in the first 5. That cashed. The Nationals came back and won it. So I was happy to see that 5-4 win for them. Today, I'm just going to look at the Washington Nationals. I'm looking at their team total in this one. Over 4.5 runs. That's coming in at plus 102. Now, you could also take them on the money line. I just think there's so much more value on those runs because I do see them hitting Andrew Abbott hard in this one. The one time he did face the Nationals, he gave up 6 runs, and that was last season. So I do expect them to be able to get those runs on the board again. On that money line, it's coming in at minus 108. I think both of those have every ability to cash with Jake Irvin coming out here for the Washington Nationals. I really like what we've seen out of him and what we've seen out of him at home as well. And the bats have been hot right now for the Washington Nationals. They've been able to produce those runs, 5 runs yesterday. And you look here at the Reds, and they're just not hitting righties strong enough for me to be able to back them. So it's the Washington Nationals over 4.5 runs at plus 102, or you can look at that money line. I think they get the win as well, Kevin.
Rooting against it. That's also because I have a Reds win total that I played coming out of the break here, and the Nationals have handed them a pair of losses to start the second half, which has been no fun whatsoever. Yanks in action, Joe. Stroman's got the baseball here as the Yanks look to take this series against Tampa Bay. What are you lining up?
Yeah, this is a bounce back situation for the Yankees. When you look at the Yankees, when they're off a loss, looking to come back off of it, and then as a favorite in the next game, they're 4-1 in their last 5 in this situation. And I do think the value here is on the Yankees in the first 5 innings. You can look at them in the first 5 innings on that run line, Kevin. Laying the half a run, it's coming in at minus 110. They have the advantage here at the mound with Marcus Stroman getting the start. He's been strong. He's 7-4 on the season with a 3.51 ERA. He's allowed 1 run in 5 innings pitched versus the Rays. So it's not a huge sample size, but I do think he can be strong, especially when we look at Shane Baz and how he's done versus the Yankees. He's given up those runs in his career versus the Yankees, and I think the Yankees will hit him nice and hard and get off to that fast start. They're going to be frustrated with what they were able to do yesterday in that game, only able to put up a run with the Tampa Bay Rays really dominating out there on the diamonds. So I do think the Yankees bounce back in this one. The first 5 is where I'm the most confident in them because we saw yesterday with the Mets. The Mets got the win, but they didn't cover that run line. I could see this being a similar situation for the full game. But in the first 5, I do think we can cover the half a run.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if there's a spot to jump in with Juan Soto. The 1.5 hits, runs, RBI was at minus 160. I know sometimes you can use those as a parlay piece, possibly something maybe to consider there as Baz has really struggled against left-handed bats. I know it's a small sample size, but considering I'm using it to project over to Juan Soto, I'm fine enough with that being a smaller sample size. Joe, what about Detroit here? Looking to get the job done against the Blue Jays and get to 500.
Okay, I'm laughing here at Kevin Gausman and the Toronto Blue Jays being such a big favorite versus Detroit. Gausman at home is not a pitcher that you can count on. That ERA is a 7.19 at home. He's a road pitcher that you can count on. Now, his strikeouts have been all over the place, and we saw it yesterday with Toronto and Kikuchi. Kikuchi came out nice and strong, was able to get those strikeouts on the board, but Detroit still answered back, and the bullpen of Toronto really let them down. And this is a bullpen that I can't trust, and I can't trust the starting pitching here for Toronto either with them at home. So I'm going to look at Detroit. I'm going to look at their team total in this one, Kevin. I was shocked. Team total of 3.5 to the over at -115. I was expecting a 4.5 out here. We know Detroit can get these runs on this lineup here for pitching for Toronto. So I'm going to take them over the 3.5 runs. I would expect them to be able to get the win here as well. There's so much value at +136. So I'd look at both of those bets. Toronto's bullpen has a 4.90 ERA, and Gausman at home is terrible. Just terrible.
Yeah, so we're going to continue to get to the baseball with Joe Madden after this break, but I do want to give people an update. At the Open Championship, Xander Schauffele now the solo leader at 7 under. Tristan Lawrence has dropped back to 6 under. Justin Rose is at 5 under. What does that look like? +850 Justin Rose, +450 Tristan Lawrence, -300 for Xander Schauffele to get the job done here at the Open Championship and win his second major this year, looking to become the first golfer in the last decade since Rory McIlroy, ironically enough, in 2014, who won 2 majors in the same season. We'll continue to follow this. We'll talk some more baseball with Joe after the break.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta. It's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
I feel like when there's this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
OMG, what did we just witness? Our first ever double playoff in Live Golf history. I am so pumped up right now.
So much happened on the last 5 minutes. I mean, it looked like it was going to the crushers and Anibal winning, and all of a sudden then Abraham holding a chip, David Puig birdie eight, then that little putt from Anibal on the last. I mean, it was great watching.
You know, it's really amazing to be able to do it in your home country, in front of my family, in front of so many friends, and on my favorite golf course. So it's obviously super nice.
All right, we are back right here on SportsGrid. Again, the Open Championship. We've got Brady Cannon right around the corner as Xander Schauffele is -650. Wow. It's runaway style. Shout out to Xander Schauffele. We'll get to this in a moment. Let's help the people with some baseball picks from Joe Madden. Joe, we'll go over to this Mets-Marlins game. Yesterday, the Metsies got it done, but a 1-0 victory here. What do you expect on the Sunday slate?
That game yesterday was so frustrating, Kevin. I really saw the Mets keep leaving these runners out stranded. I needed them to cover that 1.5 on the run line, and they didn't. So looking at today, with such a low-scoring game yesterday, it's hard for me to bet the over, but I'm looking at the first 5 innings. I don't trust either starting pitcher here. Kristen Scott coming out and getting the start for the New York Mets, and Trevor Rogers for the Miami Marlins. I do think the runs are coming off of both of them. Both of them have higher ERAs over 4. And we've seen Kristen Scott give up those runs to the Marlins earlier this season back in the mid of July, in which he allowed 4 earned runs on 7 hits. I do think this is another opportunity to look at the first 5 over 4.5 runs. It's coming in at -115 and just fading these pitchers to allow those runners to get on base and get home in this one, Kevin, because the amount of runners that were stranded yesterday in that game, it was so frustrating there, but we'll see the runs today.
All right, we'll see if we get some juice then with the Mets and the Marlins there. What about this Padres-Guardians game? Dylan Cease yesterday had the ball and was great here, really, for San Diego, and they win that game 7-0 against the Guardians. Was it 7-0 in the first game of that? Yeah, it was. What a bizarre series. 7-0, 7-0. Who's winning 7-0 today, Joe?
Well, it makes me feel like we should bet the exact score of 7-0 in this one, or just the Padres. I really think King is the better pitcher out here. I know Ben Lively has been good for the Guards, and this team is so phenomenally strong at home, but I look at King coming out here, and his road ERA is phenomenally strong, and I really do think he can limit the bat, silence them again here of the Guards in this one. Both of these starting pitchers will come out strong to start, though. I have faith in Ben Lively as well to be able to cash us that nervy coming in at -134. We saw those runs come late and often yesterday. I believe they came 3 in the 3rd and then 4 in the 7th or 8th inning there for the Padres, and I'm expecting a similar game where we're going to see those runs later in this one, as both these starting pitchers are competent out there. But I do think the Padres will be able to put up some runs in the first 5 innings, and the Padres on the first 5 run line, laying 0.5 runs, coming in at +122, and I think it's worth some money as well as that Nerfy at -132, Kevin.
All right, little look then on the Nerfy there. I think that makes plenty of sense. Again, that is a 2-shot lead for Xander Schauffele, 8 under to 6 under between Schauffele and Lawrence right now. 30-1 Justin Rose, 3 back. The books feel like he is out of it. I don't hate, though, that type of long shot, just because we've seen some doubles and whatnot, to where I would just say at the moment, Justin Rose's 30-1 feels more tempting than the Lawrence +550. But again, we will get there. Joe, Astros, Mariners. I am on the under 7.5 in this game. What about you?
I love that you're on the under 7.5. This is another pitching duel here. We've got Brian Wu getting the start here for the Seattle Mariners, and I can't bet against him. Phenomenally strong at home. And then Blanco coming out here for the Astros. I think both of these pitchers will come out nice and strong. I love your under in this game. I love the under in the first 5, and I'm going back to the Nerfy in this one. The Nerfy's a little juiced at -125, but I do think it has every opportunity to cash in this one. I'm willing to lay that juice. I do think both of these pitchers come out strong. They limit the hard contact out there, and we see a very low scoring, maybe 2-1 game. It's going to be tight, Kevin, but I'm going to be live betting that under all day long.
Yeah, I don't blame you there at all, Joe. Again, I think that 7.5 isn't bad. Quickly, anything Sunday Night Baseball you've been starting to look at between the Dodgers and the Red Sox?
We got James Paxton coming out here for the LA Dodgers, and I always love to back him here at home. The Dodgers only coming in at -118, Kevin, and I do think it is a solid way to go against Bello coming out here for the Red Sox. I'm looking for the Dodgers to be able to get that run in the first inning that they didn't get for me yesterday, so I will be taking the Yerfy in this one as well.
All right, looking for some juice there. Paxton and the Dodgers 5-1 when he starts at home this season. Joe, we appreciate it as always. Best of luck with all of the action. We are hitting a break here, though. Up next, it's Brady Cannon, the Open Championship, Xander Schauffele.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta. It's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
I feel like when it's this windy, this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
OMG, what did we just witness? Our first ever double playoff in Live Golf history. I am so pumped up right now.
So much happened on the last 5 minutes. I mean, it looked like it was going to the crushers and Anibal winning, and all of a sudden then Abraham holding a chip, David Puig birdie, then that little putt from Anibal on the last. I mean, it was great watching.
You know, it's really amazing to be able to do it in your home country, in front of my family, in front of so many friends, and on my favorite golf course. So it's obviously super nice.
Game Time Decisions. Kevin Walsh with you on this Sunday. And hot off the streets of Hawaii, it's Brady Cannon. Brady, great to see you. We've got a major championship going on.
Yeah, no doubt. And it looks like it might be over, Kevin. Great to be back with you. I've been watching this from the islands all week. And, it's a different format over there. Of course, here on the West Coast, I'm used to, staying up till midnight, 3 a.m., what have you. In Hawaii, the coverage starts about 8 p.m. It wasn't so bad, so I could stay up from about 8 p.m. till midnight and catch a lot of the action there. We had Shane Lowry pre-tournament, and, some of the hardest 9 holes that anybody will ever play on Saturday afternoon. I mean, it was just kind of unlucky that he happened to be in the lead going into round 3. As we know, guys like Schauffele, Sam Burns, another handful of guys that got to play a little bit early, and avoid some of that storm Saturday afternoon. It's paying off in spades here. And Lowry didn't play that awful and has played pretty well here today. But that Saturday, having gone out as the latest pairing in the field, really hurt his chances.
What a tricky thing. So, I mean, bad beats, right, is something that we all experience and discuss. And I think at times they're a lot of times measured by, you lose by a half point, or the world where it was disadvantageous to have a golfer in the lead going into the weekend.
Yeah.
That's just like, you end up too correct, right? It makes for such a fascinating tournament, and it's why so many people were so excited for this tournament. I think there's a lot of big picture stuff that we can get into, Brady, but you alluded to what I think is the most important immediate question. Is this tournament over, or is it worth clicking on anyone underneath Xander right now?
I don't know. I mean, obviously he's got some pretty hard holes coming up, but he has the hardest holes behind him. The hardest holes on the golf course today are 10, 11, and 12. And then he makes consecutive birdies at 13 and 14, a 2-shot advantage with 4 to play. And you've got Thurston Lawrence trailing by 2, probably the most inexperienced of all those that are threatening at the top of the leaderboard. You've got a major champion in Justin Rose there lurking. Shane Lowry, obviously a major champion. Scotty Scheffler, Russell Henley and Billy Horschel have kind of been there and done that, not major champions. But Lawrence, like I say, the most inexperienced of them all, and he is the closest to Schauffele. So I do believe this is a done deal. And Schauffele, I don't know what you're showing, Kevin, but just before we came on, I saw it minus 550. I don't know if that's such a bad price to lay with Schauffele right now.
Yeah, it's up to now minus 750. The Tristan Lawrence price is plus 750. The Rose price is 30-1. The argument I would make, because I do also agree that this looks over, is since it would require a pseudo blow-up, if you will, from Xander, I just feel like it's more likely he almost double bogeys than single bogeys, if that makes any sense. Where I'd rather play the Justin Rose 30-1 than the Tristan Lawrence plus 750. Brady.
I would agree.
It's kind of my read on the live board.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think, and the odds makers were telling this morning, Thurston Lawrence was a guy that they did not figure was going to win this. And he played brilliantly. Until he got to the back nine, I thought that par that he made on the first hole today was huge when he found the bunker with his tee shot and then was able to knock in a real nervy one. You know how it is when you're playing golf and you're on the first hole and you have a 4-footer to save par, and he nailed it. And I thought that really got his round off and running, and he played that front nine very, very well, and then had a couple of bogeys on the back nine and really took him out of it here. He's not completely done. But again, I think the odds makers and a lot of people knew that this was probably going to be the guy that wasn't going to figure into the picture in the end. I thought it was going to come down to Justin Rose or Xander Schauffele. And that was probably about an hour ago when they were both tied for the lead, or maybe Xander was one back. And then Rose had that costly bogey at 13 where Xander made birdie. That was a huge swing right there. But I'd be with you, Kevin. If anything crazy is going to happen here, I think it's probably more likely to involve Justin Rose than Thurston Lawrence.
Yeah, all right. So that's kind of where things are sitting right now. If we can then kind of start, again, I want to be cautious with any coronation conversations, but speaking earlier with Keith Brady, he kind of helped put this into perspective. Xander Schauffele is looking to become the first golfer to win 2 majors in the same year since, ironically, Rory McIlroy 10 years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
And before that, it was 2008, Padraig Harrington. And then outside of that, in the 2000s, there's 3 times Tiger did it because, well, he's bleeping Tiger Woods, so of course he's done it 3 times in the 2000s. Brady, this is, and you were someone that was on Xander when he won his first at the PGA Championship, and you kind of continuously say, I think he gets it done. I think this is his time. And for that to be the conversation 3 months ago, less, maybe, for a guy, and now the conversation is, here comes a second one in the same season. I mean, it's remarkable. It's impressive.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think it's fantastic. And a lot of rankings you'll see out there have Xander Schauffele the second best player in the world to Rory McIlroy. So I think, we shouldn't be too surprised here. I think it is a bit of a surprise that he's getting done, for the second time in the same season. That's why I wasn't necessarily on him here. I don't know how many people were. This tournament probably has more random than do other major championships. That's why Scottie Scheffler was priced a little higher. We saw him at, almost plus 550. So this is absolutely incredible for Xander Schauffele to pull off a second major in one season, but not so surprising in where his placement is in the world ranking, if you will, being that guy that really has probably been second Scheffler all season long.
If you think about kind of, and you mentioned his placement within kind of the world, right? If you look around right now, and these kind of big picture conversations are always ones that I love. It's probably because I'm just very comfortable having them through, basketball. It's just so common, right? But that world's top 5, 6 range, right? In no particular order, Scotty, Xander, Rory, Bryson, Morikawa, Rahm. I mean, it all depends where you want to go, right? But Collins had a great season. Hasn't been able to close at any of these events. Rory has been in form, but the story with Rory is the same story it's been now for a decade since he won back in 2014. For Rahm, it's been disappointing. For Bryson, you tip the cap because kind of the live situation is still a super unique one. He's able to put one up on the board, and he might be, again, a little bit of an outlier there. For Scottie Scheffler to have the season that he's had, it's been remarkable, and it's felt like it's elevated him to a different caliber of golfer. And we talk about Scottie Scheffler so often this season it's a formality, right? Well, he's probably just going to win, right? And he's done that. And the fact that you could now probably make a pretty solid and coherent argument that of the two, between Scottie and Xander, well, Xander's had the more. Do you argue he's had the more impressive season? If he has two majors? I don't want to. I'm not trying to take away from Scottie, and I don't want to cut you short on that, Brady. So I want to get your answer to that on the other side, because that is just where, and that is the beauty that I've learned to really appreciate with golf, is that's what these majors are, right? I mean, the people, again, that know this sport so well, they can tell you who's obviously probably one of the last 6-7 travelers, but people can rattle off who's won these majors, right? And you remember it. And the fact that Xander is looking to do something that hasn't been done in a decade, and again, the list of names in the last 25 years is Tiger, Rory, and again, shout out Padraig Harrington. It is just so remarkable. We'll talk about this with Brady. We're right back with Game Time Decisions.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Golf Championships, and now we have Live.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
I feel like when there's this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
OMG, what did we just witness? Our first ever double playoff in Live Golf history. I am so pumped up right now.
So much happened on the last 5 minutes. I mean, it looked like it was going to the crushers and anybody winning, and all of a sudden then Abraham holding a chip, David Puig birdie eight, then that little putt from Anirban on the last. I mean, it was great watching.
It's really amazing to be able to do it in your home country, in front of my family, in front of so many friends, and on my favorite golf course. So it's obviously super nice.
All right, we're back. It's Game Time Decisions, and we're getting to have kind of the big picture conversations that I've really enjoyed throughout this golf season. And Brady, with Xander Schauffele on the cusp of winning a second major in the same season, how does that stack up to you when we compare him up against the world and specifically probably Scottie Scheffler for this year?
Yeah, I think the question becomes now, Kevin, and I don't know if there's a betting market for this type of thing, who's the PGA Tour Player of the Year? And I think that is a really difficult question when you look at it. Looks like Xander's going to win. He's now got a 2-shot advantage with 3 holes to play. By the way, Shane Lowry did make another birdie. He's just 4 shots off the pace. Pretty admirable what Lowry has done in bounce back fashion today here on Sunday. He is now 3 under par on his round. Got started out with an early bogey. It looked like he wasn't going to put anything together, but pretty commendable for the Irishman trying to win his second claret jug. But now it looks like it'll be a second major in the same season for Xander. And you win the PGA Championship, his first ever major of his career. You back it up with a claret jug, the Open Championship, which, I think in many people's mind is the most difficult one to grab. Obviously the golf here this week, and especially that Saturday afternoon, has been incredibly demanding. And then you put that up against what Scottie Scheffler has done. What was it, 6 wins in 9 starts or 6 wins in 10 starts or something like that? I think as crazy as it is, Kevin, and we've talked about it all season long, how incredible it is what Scottie Scheffler's doing. A guy that knocks down 2 majors has to be in that conversation. For me, it's maybe Scottie Scheffler's minus 135 to be player of the year. It's close, in my opinion.
Which, again, in what world was this going to ever be close, right? Think about, Scottie was entering these tournaments, and he would birdie the first hole, and they'd be like, oh, he's plus 180 to win the tournament. What? It's Thursday at 3 p.m. What are you talking about? And here's the other thing for Xander, though, Brady, right? He has finished top 10 at every major. He's not obviously going to finish outside of the top 10 here. And he has, he has multiple top 5s throughout this season. And this isn't a guy who has, had 2 big burst performances, right? He doesn't have other wins outside of this, but he has, he's been top 10 nearly everywhere. I think only twice he was outside of the top 20 in any of the tournaments that he's played in this season. So, I don't know if people maybe stack up earnings side by side or how kind of they want to. I know there's the FedEx scoring, which I don't know kind of where that would sit right now. You'd have a better gauge of it than I would, but it is even the fact that Xander has been able to turn that into a conversation, and the fact that there are some who might give you Xander as the answer is incredible. And I think the other thing to add, and I promise I am not trying to lessen or tear down Scottie, but this isn't an instance where, because Xander shot that record score right at the PGA and held on. Xander had as much work to do as Scottie would have had to do here this weekend, and Xander was able to get that work done. Scottie gave you his usual ho-hum top 10 because that's what he does. But if Xander gets this job done, that same opportunity truly was there for Scottie Scheffler, Brady, and Xander's the one who got it done.
Yep, absolutely. And he's got a better track record over the course of his career in the Open Championship. Now, he's played in more Open Championships than Scottie Scheffler has. But, I believe he was runner-up at Carnoustie when Francesco Molinari won. I think that was 2016. He's been awful close here, just like he has in every major championship throughout his entire career. He's had top 10 finishes, I believe, in every single major. And now, finally, obviously kicking that door down here in 2024 in a huge way, with it looks like 2 major championships to his credit. I'll tell you another betting opportunity you might take a look at, and I'm sure if the market is up, it's probably already adjusted. But FedEx Cup champion, if you can bet on that, and I'm sure you probably will be able to on Monday, who will be the FedEx Cup champion in 2024 on the PGA Tour? Xander may move to the position of favorite, but I wouldn't necessarily mind that. When you get to the Tour Championship at Eastlake, you have that staggered scoring system, where the guy who is number 1 in points is going to start with a huge advantage, number 2, number 3, number 4, all the way on down. The guy in the first position will have the biggest handicap he'll be that much farther ahead than the rest of the field. The next guy is like 2 shots less, 2 shots, and on down the road. It's kind of a weird format, but it's probably going to be Xander and Scottie at the top of that list. And if that's the case, then I'll take Xander because he has been a money-making machine at Eastlake in Atlanta. He has owned that golf course. When Dustin Johnson won it a few years back, he won it because he had the advantage, the adjusted scoring. But Xander actually had the low score for the 4 days. He has gained more strokes in the Tour Championship than I believe anybody else in the world at that golf course. So, he is a horse for that course. And if he goes in with an advantage on top of that, then he is going to be my play for the FedEx Cup Player of the Year. So that might be another market you want to take a look at on Monday or as soon as you see it come out, which is similar to a Player of the Year market, but I'm not sure if you'll find that available. You should definitely be able to find FedEx Cup champion.
Yeah, I think we are. Again, we're going to have a lot of intrigue there. I am going to ask you, Brady, to just stick around for an extra moment or so, because I do want your thoughts on Rory, because lost in it all, understandably, is the fact that Rory McIlroy missed this cut. And I know a lot of that has had to do with the tournament and kind of just what Brady rightfully said about Shane Lowry. Basically, due to his tee time, he was almost eliminated from contention. And Rory kind of got caught in a bad group that made things close to impossible. It doesn't stop the fact that Rory McIlroy missed the cut here at the Open Championship, and that's just a stunning thing to say, all things considered. I want to get Brady's thoughts on that, maybe any thoughts he might have heading into the Olympics as well. We'll button up Game Time Decisions next here on SportsGrid.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
I feel like when this windy, this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
OMG, what did we just witness? Our first ever double playoff in Live Golf history. I am so pumped up right now.
So much happened on the last 5 minutes. I mean, it looked like it was going to the crushers and Annie Barton winning, and all of a sudden then Abraham holding a chip, David Puig birdie, then that little putt from Annie Barton on the last. I mean, it was great watching.
It's really amazing to be able to do it in your home country, in front of my family, in front of so many friends, and on my favorite golf course. So it's obviously super nice.
All right, let's do it. We're closing it out here with Brady Cannon on Game Time Decisions. Brady, I just wanted to get your thoughts because we weren't able to talk earlier in the week. But Rory missing the cut, stunning to me. And I'm curious what do you think it matters big picture? Just an unlucky 2-day run with the fact that he missed the cut here at the Open Championship?
Yeah, I think it's randomness. It was very surprising to me, though. I actually bet on Rory. You know, I broke down everything like I always do, and I had Shane Lowry, like we talked about. I had Colin Morikawa. I had Tommy Fleetwood and Tyrrell Hatton. You know, I kind of liked Morikawa, Fleetwood, and Hatton, and of course Rory as my top picks. And it was my other picks that all made the cut and did a lot better in Shane Lowry and Emiliano Grillo and Corey Connors. Morikawa was really the only shorter shot that I had that made the cut and had some success. So, Tyrrell Hatton wins on the LIV circuit not that long ago. I was surprised by him. Tommy Fleetwood has had a fantastic season. I was surprised by him. And Rory surprised me quite a bit as well. I mean, I know he had the disappointment at the U.S. Open, but let's face it, he was right there, ready to win it, should have won it. He comes back at the Scottish Open, finished fourth. I mean, it's not like this guy's been in bad form. Yeah, he had a bad loss. And the Open Championship has arguably been his best major. And, here last year he finished sixth. The year before that he was third. I mean, he's been very good the last handful of years in this championship specifically. Courses that correlated to Royal Troon made sense. There was a ton of things that made sense for me for Rory McIlroy this week. And so I was very surprised to see him miss the cut. I expected that he would have been right here on the top 10 of the leaderboard on Sunday with a chance to win it. And I figured, okay, that seems almost guaranteed to me. And now you're going to give me 8.5 to 1 that he's going to go ahead and win it. I think, one time out of 8.5 chances, he can turn that into a victory. And that was kind of the final straw in my handicap, that because I felt, yeah, he's going to be there. And you're going to give me, you're telling me the number says one time out of 8.5 chances, he's going to be able to turn the trick. I said, okay, I'll buy that. So I was very surprised. And not only missing the cut, missing it badly.
That was what, by the way, Xander's now 3 up, minus 7,000. So, again, that coronation is on. I kind of was telling people about that fact, Brady, which added to my surprise, is that, again, and I've been saying this all week, but you, Carver, Keith, Ham, you guys have been just doing such a great job breaking down the golf board. And for you guys to, I think a lot of you had some trust in Rory heading into the week, which, again, it makes all the sense in the world. For him to then miss the cut, it's why it was so stunning to me, right? That if to trust a guy at the top, right? Okay, maybe he doesn't win. One guy wins, right? The guy's a short number at 8 to 1. It's a bomb price. And 8 to 1 is catching like 14 on a Saturday in college football. So it's the fact that the way it played out was just so stunning to me. And I don't know if it, again, will matter the next time he's out on a golf course, but it'll just stick with me. For some reason, him missing this cut here is just going to be something that I remember almost as much as the fact that Xander is going to win this tournament. The Olympics, Brady, is there anything that you have any thoughts kind of before we get you out of here?
Well, real quick on Rory, the next major championship that he will tee it up at is the Masters. And that's the one that seems to give him the most headache because it's the one he hasn't won yet. He performed pretty darn well in not only the U.S. Open, but wasn't too bad in the PGA Championship as well. So we'll see what happens next April to Rory McIlroy. As far as the Olympics, this is pretty interesting, Kevin. Since golf has gone into the Olympics, as far as, seeing these PGA Tour players participate, the 2 gold medal winners, Justin Rose and Xander Schauffele, both at the very top of this leaderboard. So in less than a month, we're going to see those guys as former gold medal winners right back after it here in just a few weeks. I think that's pretty interesting when you take a look at breaking down the handicap for the Olympics. 2 guys right there, obviously in pretty good form, both have a gold medal in their pocket.
Yeah, form is there. Brady, we appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. In-Game Live is coming up next year on Game Time Decisions. That baseball board for me to run through it quickly. Best bet, A's Angels under the 9. We're on Imanaga and the Cubbies. Money line at minus 124. To record a win, Joe Ryan and Spencer Schwellenbach under 8.5. Royals, White Sox under 7.5. Mariners, Astros. Enjoy it. We'll see you tomorrow.